my name is Jasmine Terry, and today I'm here with Ashley Mae Wasser, who just finished her speech of significance for the public speaking class. I want to talk a little bit with Ashley to see how did she come about preparing for this speech, and what were some of the things that went into it. So Ashley, you talked about House Bill 89, very, very interesting. And I'm interested to know, did you know about House Bill 89 before you decided on the assignment?
No. I did not know about House Bill 89.
Okay.
Actually, I didn't know about the bill until I started a new internship. And I was doing an internship on an online talk radio show. And one of the things that my very conservative talk show host wanted to talk about that day was this new bill, House Bill 89. Right. And I realized in hearing him talk about it that it was an interesting bill. It was something that I thought was really risky for the Georgia legislature to do.
Right.
So he actually allowed me on air to banter with him, and he was playing the advocate role and I was playing the opponent role just for fun.
Right.
And I realized that I was actually very interested in the bill. So that's how I first came to meet House Bill 89, I guess.
How you met House Bill 89.
How I met, sounds like a book.
It does sound like a book. Now, for our listeners who may not have had a chance to hear your speech, what is House Bill 89?
Okay, House Bill 89 is a bill enacted by the Georgia legislature during the 2008 session. And what it does is it extends concealed carry rights. So we think of concealed carry laws. You can carry a firearm on your person, not in plain view, but maybe in a purse if you're a female, or under a coat or jacket or something comparable with that. And basically what the bill does is it just kind of moves concealed carry further into the public sphere.
Gotcha.
There were certain places where you really couldn't carry. Now you can take your concealed weapon to restaurants in Georgia, to state parks, and also on public transportation systems.
Like the MARTA.
Like MARTA. MARTA is an excellent example for Atlanta.
Right.
That's our situation here. So.
Right. Now, I thought it was interesting for this class. The assignment exactly was to develop a speech of significance. It's my understanding that it's the first of three speeches.
The first in a series of three, exactly.
Right. So what were the guidelines for the speech of significance assignment?
The speech of significance is sort of a unique speech. It's what I would call the teaser in the series. It lays out the foundation of what is House Bill 89 and why the heck should we care in the first place. Those are kind of the two questions that the speech of significance the speech of significance answers.
What is the topic and why should we care?
Why should we care?
Gotcha.
It's just that very brief give us a taste of what this is all about. And really the way that it functions is just to let the audience know, okay, what are we talking about here? And then secondly, why should I be concerned? Why should I be invested in this topic? Why should I be listening in the first place?
And in the beginning, how difficult did you perceive the speech of significance to be, especially with the topic that you chose?
Right.
Yeah.
I thought the speech of significance would be the easiest of the series of three speeches, simply because it is just that introduction into the topic. It just is that establishing the foundation of relevance, I guess, in our lives. And for me, as I said, I thought it would be the easiest, but for me it was a challenge, particularly because of the time constraints.
Right.
The very first few times I was practicing my speech, I was finishing out of 6 minutes.
Yeah.
I was way behind the line. The speech is supposed to be a 2 to 4 minute speech.
Right.
So I was just getting too much information in there. And, Dr. Lawrence, the professor overseeing these speeches, just had to give me that feedback. Ashley, cut it down. It needs to be the bare meat of the situation. So that's what I had to do.
And speaking of cutting it down, because when I first heard the speech, I thought, wow, she pretty much framed it in a good way. And you narrowed down the speech parameters to the provisions of the House Bill, of House Bill 89. And then you went on to talk about this idea of public safety, the pros and the cons of what people are saying about public safety.
Exactly.
And then on this issue of deterring crime. So those were kind of the two main issues that were going on with House Bill 89. Were there any other issues that needed to be addressed that you decided maybe I should cut down on, or what else did you have to choose from?
Well, I won't spoil the surprise, but a lot of other issues come up in the other speeches. I think just for this particular speech, I had to pick the two things that were the most hard-hitting.
Right.
Public safety, something we all care about. We're not hermits in our society today. We go outside of our homes, we go shopping, we go to dinner with our families, we play with our dogs outside. House Bill 89 was relevant to public safety.
Exactly.
Secondly, crime. This day and age, people are really confused. Is crime on the increase? Is it on the decrease? What's it going to do? So when you think about introducing concealed weapons further into the public sphere than ever before, it makes you wonder, what's that going to do to crime?
Right.
Is there going to be more crime, less crime? So to me, public safety and crime, those were the two most hard-hitting things when it comes to House Bill 89, the most relevant things that we could probably see in our everyday lives to judge the bill.
To judge the bill. And I think it's important when we're talking about your speech, how it works. And since the purpose of the speech is significance is to really establish for the audience the significance of the topic, I want to talk a little bit about your motivation, which came in the first and introductory part of the speech.
Right.
And in my opinion, you did a really good job of showing the audience how it affects everyone.
Thank
What
you.
kind of things, kind of frame the way you put it? You mentioned, you're going to a Bon Jovi concert or,
Yes.
riding MARTA. How did you really find your voice and making it, hit home to the audience?
Well, in my outline, I think the part that I actually used when I actually gave the speech was I talked about riding MARTA like to the library,
Right.
or to a concert, or really to
Right.
anywhere. It doesn't matter where you take MARTA to. We all know. I mean, have you read MARTA?
Right.
How many places does MARTA
Right.
stop? It stops everywhere.
Right.
That's the point of MARTA.
Right.
But it was about, well, what is something that sounds so casual to me, where like you wouldn't expect a gun normally. Like we are allowed to have guns in our homes before this bill, but the library,
Exactly.
people can carry there now.
Exactly,
That's
right.
kind of odd. So I just kind of picked places like that, and then just the common ground places. Like we all go out to dinner. Maybe not now that the economy
Right.
is the way it is, but
Right.
we all go out to dinner. We all have pets. We all like to visit parks and that sort of thing. So, like I said, they just seemed like the most common ground sites where we could all be impacted by House Bill 89.
Right. Did a great job with that.
Thank you.
And I'm interested. Throughout the speech, I kind of got this idea or this image of a target, a gun,
Yes.
a bullseye, and a target.
Yes.
I thought stylistically that was pretty creative. How difficult was that to develop? Or what kind of things did you think about in developing that as a transition throughout the speech?
Oh, Jasmine, that was the easiest
That
part.
was the
I have
easiest
a
part.
horrible sense of humor, so that was the easiest part, let me tell you. I tried to include transitions. I tried to do, like you said, some
Right.
stylistic things that reminded us, hey, we're talking about guns here.
Right.
Because when you talk about the title of the bill, House Bill 89,
Right.
it's just a number in
Exactly.
the session of the legislature
Right.
this year. I mean, what does it really mean? Well, it's a concealed carry bill.
Right.
It deals with guns. So I'll have to look through my speech real quick, but one of my transitions I used between when I was talking about what the bill was and then that first serious issue of public safety, I said, so Georgia House Bill 89 has just fired into our
Right.
way of life.
Right. Right.
And issues like public safety and Georgia's
Right.
crime rate are in range. So
Right.
I just tried to use that
Right.
that jargon of maybe gunplay
Right.
and those sort of things.
And even with point B, when we're talking about this issue of public safety,
Right.
how the advocates think of this if this were to pass and citizens were able to carry these guns as a 24-hour citizen defense
squad,
That
right.
was great language to use to really
Thank you.
kind of frame it into the context of our
Right.
of our speech.
And I think, another thing in the speech is just to remain unbiased. I mean, you can do the creative things too, but you want to represent the viewpoints
Right.
adequately.
Right.
So for Senator John Douglas, that's what it was all about. It was all about, well, law enforcement does the best they can. He wasn't
Right.
criticizing law enforcement,
Right.
but he was saying there are just times when they're not present.
Exactly.
End of subject.
Right.
And what can we do to help that? Well, if you let our populace carry concealed weapons, they can be at any place, anytime. Conveniently, there can be someone present who has a concealed weapon. And to him, that was a sure way
And the
to
freedom, right.
protect public
Right.
safety.
Right. The last question. I'm interested in knowing, did you have a chance to speak with your professor about this topic? And what was the role that the professor played in helping you shape your ideas?
I learned immediately that it is imperative that the professor has a consistent role throughout the process. Because from stage one, when I was discussing my idea, I was like, I want to do House Bill
Right.
89. And Dr. Lawrence was like, great, well, what do you want to
Right.
say about House Bill
Right.
89? Because my particular situation was this bill's already been passed.
Exactly.
So I had a different situation.
Right.
So I needed his help with that. I had him look at outlines for all my speeches, and particularly this one. I think this is probably the fourth
The
revised
fourth,
version.
right.
I'm not kidding, the fourth revised
Wow.
version of this outline.
So revision is good.
Revision is
Revision is
important.
good, yeah.
If things hadn't changed, I don't think I would be happy with the way the speech is now.
Right.
Like I said before, it was too long. I was getting caught up on things, and as time went on, and I was getting more familiar with the material, I could add those stylistic
Exactly.
things, and I think that really was able to bring it to life a little more because it can seem a little dry. I mean, we're talking about very serious issues
Right.
here. I was trying to spice it up
Right.
any way that I could see fit.
Right. Well, Ashley, I think you did a great job, and I'm excited to hear next two speeches.
Thank you, Jasmine. Keep waiting.
Keep waiting.
Here they come.
News.